Performing arts, a contemporary arts here in the Philippines. Good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to continue with one of the subtopics in the contemporary arts in the region, and I hope that you'll give your attention to this presentation. Thank you. What is performing arts? The term performing arts refers to any art form in which artists or actors use their voice and body to interact with other performers, objects, or even the audience. It differs from visual arts in that it travels across time and space and is typically conducted by a group of individuals with differing degrees of experience and expertise, each performing a particular role. Examples of performing arts are films, dance, and music. For film, analyzing and appreciating film and theater requires understanding its visual, dramatic, and literary components. In dance, looking into knowledge of choreography, technical skills, performance skills, or rhythm and tempo is necessary. And to music, it focuses on form, context, and expression. But moving on, we are going to focus to the dances and music under performing arts here in the Philippines. These may be folk dances, music, or even a play which is usually created by a single person or a group of people to represent their culture and traditions. For folk performing arts, folk dances, plays, and dramas constitute most of the folk performing arts in the Philippines. Each ethnic group in the Philippines possess their own heritage on folk performing arts. However, Filipino folk performing arts also includes Spanish and American influences because of the country's historical narratives. Some dances in the Philippines, the folk dances, are also related to dances of the neighboring countries, which are the Austronesians and Asians. Some notable examples of folk dances here in the Philippines will be shown in this slide. Tinikling, Pangalay, the Singkil Royal Dance, Lumad Courtship Dance, the Sinakulo in Bulacan, at ang Maglalatik. Next, as you can hear, there is a music playing in the background. It is one of the numerous traditional folk music usually used in performance art, which also serves as an example for this presentation. Traditional Filipino music is reflective of the country's history as a melting pot of different cultures. Among the dominant cultural strains, noticeable today are Hispanic, American, and to some extent Chinese, Indian, and Islamic. However, it is difficult to strictly classify the whole corpus of Philippine music as either Western or Eastern. Moving on, this traditional Filipino music can be categorized into two, one as a vocal music and two as a dance music. The traditional music of the Philippines, like the folk music of other countries, reflects the life of common, mostly rural Filipinos. Like their counterparts in Asia, many traditional songs from the Philippines have a strong connection with nature. However, much of it employs the diatonic scale rather than the more Asian pentatonic scale, with the exception of indigenous people, ritual music. And that is all for this subtopic. I thank you for listening.
Makulay. Ganyan mailalarawan ang tinaguriang perlas ng silangan, mayaman sa likas na yaman at hitik sa kultura at tradisyon. Ating tunghayan at tuklasin ang masining na panitikan ng Pilipinas. This is the Philippine Literature. Bago pa man sakupin ng mga dayuhan ang Pilipinas, ay hindi maikakailang mayroon ng literatura sa ating bansa, gaya ng mga dula. Ngunit mas naging hitik pa ito sa pagpasok ng mga Kastila na sadyang nagkaroon ng malaking impluensya sa panitikan ng ating bansa. Ang ating mga ninuno ay may sarili ng panitikan bago pa man dumating sina Magellan sa Pilipinas. Nagtataglay ang panitikang ito ng kasaysayan ng ating lahi, mga kwentong bayan, alamat, epiko, kantahing bayan, karunungang bayan, salawikain, kasabihan, bugtong, palaisipan, at iba pa. Ngunit ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng Philippine literature? Philippine literature refers to the traditional oral literature of various ethnic groups in our country. It includes the story of Malakas at Maganda and epics such as Hudhud ni Alibuyon, Dangan, and the likes. Ang panitikang Pilipino ay katulad din ng panitikan ng alimang bansa sa daigdig na sumasaklaw sa pasalita o pasulat na nagpapahayag ng mga damdaming ukol sa mga gawi at kaugaliang panlipunan, paraan ng pamumuhay, kaisipang pampolitika at mga kapaniwalaang panrelihiyon, ang kanilang mga adhikain, ang kanilang mga pangarap mula pa sa bukang liwayway ng kanilang mga kabihasnan hanggang sa kasalukuyan. Sa madaling salita, ang panitikan sa Pilipinas ay nangangahulugan sa mga iba't ibang tradisyonal na kwento katulad ng mga epikong nabanggit. Ako si Gerald Salas at ito ang aking dokumentaryo tungkol sa panitikan ng Pilipinas.
Before we continue on our reporting, I just want to take a short break. We are going to watch a Netflix series. What is graphic arts? Graphic arts is a traditional category of fine arts. It is commonly a two-dimensional arts produced on a flat surface. Usually, the design in graphic arts includes typography. The selection of designs should be organized. This may involve in and concerned with the determination of appearance of the art. Sketching, paintings, photography, and calligraphy are some examples of graphic arts. Oops, sorry for an interruption. We should move in the next series. What is plastic arts? Plastic arts derive from the word plasticize, meaning to mold. It is described any art form which involves modeling or molding in three dimensions. It is involved physical manipulation, such as sculpture or ceramic. Less often, the terms may be used broadly for all the visual arts, as approved to literature and music. Before the short break ends, I just want to leave you a figurative quote. We don't make mistake, just happy little accident. From Bob Ross.
Ornaments is used to embellish parts of a building or object. It is also used to decorate something by adding special details and fixtures, and to make something more appealing or attractive. Large figurative elements such as monumental sculpture and their equivalent in decorative art are excluded from the term. Most ornament does not include human figures, and if present, they are small compared to the overall scale. Anito figures, bulul or bulul, which represent the ancestral spirit and granary gods of the Ifugaos. The bulul is placed in the rice granaries to guard their harvest. Parol is an iconic symbol of the Filipino Christmas. Architectural ornament can be carved from stone, woods, or precious metals, formed with plaster or clay, or painted or impressed onto a surface as applied ornament. In other applied arts, the main material of the object or a different one such as paint or vitreous enamel may be used.
Easter Sunday is a resurrection of Jesus from the dead. This occasion will be a day of reflection and beginning for a new day and a new life. It is also a great opportunity to look back from the past of our nation's humble beginnings. We all know that our country's culture and traditions can be traced from our old civilizations way before the Spaniards came. This civilization is full of unknown and mysteries. So we investigate and our findings lead us to the country's pottery industry. This banga is an example of Philippine pottery. It is simple but is also the key to the mystery of the Philippine civilization. Now, let's look with the interview of the palayok maker, Tessie Dungo.
Yung paggawa ng palayok, sabi, marumi daw. Marumi. Malinis ang lupa. Nasa tao na lang kung magdudumis yun. Madumi lang sa damit, madumi lang sa katawan ng tao. Pero hindi naman madumi sa kalooban ng tao. Marangal na trabaho. Marangal na marumi, aka nga. Dahil putik. Ako si Tessie Dungo, 65 years old. Gumagawa ng palayok sa Kalumpit, Bulacan. Wala nang palayok na nabibili dito. Mas uso na ngayon yung mga aluminium gamit, kawali. Kaya yung nabaliwala na ang palayok. Nakagisnan ko na yung paggawa ng palayok. Yung aming baryo, Gatbuka, may katabing ilog, yan, nakagisnan ko rin yan. Kung wala yung ilog, hindi mabubuhay kung minsan yung mga taong umaasad yan. Isa na ako doon. Mula nung malilit kami, binuhay na kami ng nanay ko, ganyan. Sa palayok. Kumuha sila ng buhangin sa sapa para pangalo sa palayok. Sumisisid sila para makakuha sila ng buhangin. Pagka namin yung buhangin, patutuyin muna namin yung sa araw. Kinabukasan o kaya hapon, ito na, magmamasa na ako ng sa paa. Dito, kinukuha yung lupa na lulo sa akin. Gigilingan.
Una, yung lupa at saka yung buhangin, minimix yan sa paa. Parang ano siya, kalamay din na kailangan makunat. Nakita ko kasi yung pagmimix sa paa, kuminsan may butil, nasisira si palayok. Naisip ko, ginaya ko yung sa tinapay. Nagpundar din ako ng style ng makina na yung parang sa tinapay.
Pakuluan muna yan, tapos itatapon para hindi maglasang lupa. Masarap paglutuan ng palayok sa kanin, mabango. Tsaka yung paksiw, hindi mapapaan sa 4 na araw. Kasi nga, yung sa palayok, hindi naapektuhan yung linuluto. Pero yung sa kasirola, kaldero, kawali, nag-iiba lasa, hindi masarap. Minsan lasang panis. Kahit na hindi panis. Pinilit kong linagay ko sa utak ko, kailangan matuto ako nito. Hindi ako nakapag-aral. Kung matuto ako nung meron akong alam kahit papaano. Kailangan pag gumagawa ka ng palayok, matyaga ka lang para makarami ka. Pero kung tamad-tamad ka, kahit na isang palayok, wala kang mapapalitaw. Nung na ako, nakabubuo na ako ng medyo maganda-ganda. Nakakatapos na ako ng 300 isang linggo, 350, ganun. 15 anyos na ako nung nakabuo na ako ng ganun karami. Bukas ang umaga, ibababa na para pukpukin. Patitigasin muna siya. Dito. Yung paggawa nga ng palayok, pinagpalaki ko sa mga anak ko. Hindi nga lang nakapagtapos, pero napalaki ko silang maayos. Nagpupukpok na tayo ngayon para bumilog na, mabuo na ang palayok. Hinay-hinay lang ang pagpukpok para hindi masira. Kakayusin mo sa loob ng yung bato. Batong ganyang kalaki yun. Para magkakorte siya ng palayok. Tapos na yan, no? Gagamitin ko naman ng tsinelas. Iniikot-ikot ko na sa loob para makinis, maganda. Pag inipo mo yung palayok ko, makinis, magaan. No? Quality, pagkagawa. Makinis na, oh. Tingnan nyo, oh. Oh, hindi pa pwedeng lutuin kasi basa pa. Mga 3 days, pag pwede na, ibibilad. Ang mahalaga, hindi kagad lutuin para hindi masira. Ang kalaban, ulan. Kasi pag malamig ang palayok, masisira yung kung saan parte malamig yung palayok. Kailangan pantay ang bilad. Pinipihit-pihit pa yun hanggang nakabilad. Dapat matuyong pantay. Kasi maselan ng palayok. Pag hindi pantay ang pagkatuyo sa araw yan, kakapakin mo sa puwit yan. Ibang tunog. Mabagal na akong magtrabaho, hindi na yun dati. Matanda na ako, hindi ko na kaya yung mapagod ng gusto. Yung mga kamay ko masasakit. Nangapasma yung mga kamay ko, tsaka pa dahil ngayon, ang nararamdaman ko ngayon, manhid, masakit, kumikirot. Merong isang bagay na hindi nagbago, yung quality. Quality pa rin yung gawa ko. Hindi ko mabibitawan kung pangit-pangit yung mga gawa ko. Hawak mo na kailangan gandaan mo na. Isasalansan mo, isasapin mo sa kahoy. O ngayon, pagka napaikutan ng sandal na palayok, kamada na doon. Tsaka mo tatabunan ng mga ginikan. Pag gusto mo makatipid ng kahoy, mamulot ka na lang ng tayo ng kalabaw. Mas mabango pa ang luto. Ginagawa namin kahoy yun. Pag wala kaming kahoy na pambili. Tapos susunugin mo na. Pagka may manipis yung ginikan na linagay mo dun, tatapalan mo pa ng ginikan yun. Kasabay kang naluluto ng palayok.
Nung panahon na pidring, lumaki ang tubig. Ang mga tao dito nabigla. Malakas ang agos.
Yung linuluto namin nun, 1,000 palayok po. Doon pumunta yung agos ng tubig, yung ulan. Dinaanan yun sa ilalim ng linuluto namin. Para akong namatayan na umupo na lang ako doon sa tabi ng tibaang tinitiba. Linuluto. Nagngangawa ako doon. Biro ang karay kong nalusaw lahat, wala akong nakuha. Nawala. Siyempre, iiyak ako. Susubo mo na lang yun, malulusaw pa, masisira pa. O nung pagbibenta mo, wala. Nasira. Mahigit 3,000 yun, pesos. Pagka malulang, huwag kang magluluto dahil masisira lang. Walang pakikinabangan. Ito, luto na, maganda. Perfect. Quality. Tingnan mo naman, mapupula, oh. Okay. Oh, yan, oh. Maganda na ito. Natutuwa ako at maganda yung gawa ko. Maganda ang pagkaluto. Hindi sira.
Mabili ang gawa ni Aling Tessie. Kaya nga sabi ng mga namimili itong gawa ni Aling Tessie kahit saan namin dalin, mabili.
May order si Nila. Sa Manila Hotel nga yun. Pang kare-kare yun. Sa Japan. Sa Australia, yung pisa ko nasa California, nagdala siya nun. Sabi ko salamat sa Diyos at kahit papano nagugustuhan yung gawa ko. Oh. Kasi sumagot naman yung kumukuha. Kasi makinis, makintab. Siguro po, isa akong alamat sa kanila dahil makinis ang gawa ko. Magaan. Gusto ko quality talaga. Yung hindi pipintasan yung mga gawa ko. Pangit na nga ako, pangit ang gawa ko, di wala na akong katangian. Kahit man lang sa gawa, bumabawi ako.
Native Filipinos created pottery since 3,500 years ago. Palayok is one example of it. These potteries serves as secondary burial jars to be held in the deceased. Some of these were decorated with anthropomorphic designs. The best example of these burial jars are the Philippine National Treasures Manunggul jars and the My Tomb anthropomorphic jars.
Now, the team traveled to Quezon, Palawan to visit the infamous Tabon Cave, where the remains of Tabon people are recovered. That is believed to be the first inhabitants of the Philippines. In this historical area, the Manunggul jar are also found that is also believed to reflect the culture of the Asian Philippine civilization.
Mula sa Pantalan, kinailangan pa naming bumiyahe sakay ng bangka para marating ang Tabon Cave Complex.
Yan ang mouth ng Tabon Cave.
Binubuo ng mahigit 200 kuweba ang Tabon Cave Complex. Pero 7 lamang dito ang bukas para sa publiko.
Dito sa Tabon Cave, dito rin nagmula yung unang apoy. Ang katunayan, kaya maitim yung baba ng lupa na yan, dyan nagsimula yung apoy. Nung araw, dito sila nagluluto rin. Tapos, dito rin sila nakatira.
In the year 1962, the American anthropologist Dr. Robert Fox discovered the remains of a Tabon man that is believed to live 20,000 years ago.
Ang napili nilang tinirahan yung Tabon Cave dahil that is the perfect place for them, yung dwelling place nila because of the perfect moonlight during nighttime and the perfect sunlight during daytime. At malapit sa dagat. Pag gusto nilang bumaba para kumuha lang ng kanilang pagkain, pwede silang bumaba doon. Ito yung tinatawag natin na Igang Cave, the longest cave in Tabon Cave Complex. So nakikita natin yung iba't ibang klase ng stalactite. Papasok tayo dyan, makikita natin ng mga rare, ng mga insekto na sa loob. And tarantula, mga scorpion na iba't ibang klase. Ito ang Manunggul Cave, na dito nakuha ang Manunggul jar. Nagtawag, na ibig sabihin ng Manunggul Cave or Manunggul is standing rock from the Tagbanwa term. Secondary burial that is 790 to 810 BC. Height nito, 10 feet above sea level.
Jars, like the Manunggul jar, or the remains of the dead people are placed and serve as their burial jars. On its cover, there is a carving where there are 2 people who are riding a boat. That is believed to be the one who guides their soul to the afterlife.
The Philippines is a poor country, yet its culture and tradition is one of the richest in the world. The national treasures that we have is valuable than gold. And maybe these are the answer for the prosperity that we are looking for. Thank you.
everything covering everything all around me. That I would fake, I would hate, I would break every inch of my life. That I would fake, I would hate, I would break every inch of my life, every inch of my life. Altar call.
In 1991, the National Museum Archaeological Team discovered anthropomorphic secondary burial jars in Ayov Cave, Barangay Pinol, Maitum Province of Sarangani, Mindanao, Philippines. The jars are commonly known today as Maitum burial jars. They are made of earthenware and are characterized by their design that suggests human figures with complete or partial facial features of the first inhabitants in Mindanao. Furthermore, they give emphasis to the Filipinos' popular belief of life after death. According to Dr. Eusebio Dizon, head of the archaeological team, these type of burial jars are unique and intriguing because they have not been found elsewhere in Southeast Asia. These jars have characteristics that belong to the developed Metal Age period in the Philippines. The information about potteries bearing human forms encountered while treasure hunting for Pacific War treasures was shared through a phone call on June 3, 1991, between a consulting geologist named Michael Spadafora and an archaeologist named Dr. Eusebio Dizon. 3 days after the archaeologists received photographs of exceptional artifacts called by local residents. The artifacts have high probability of significance not only to the history of Maguindanao, but also to the entire Philippine prehistory. That's why, when they found a sponsor for the trip, Dr. Dizon, in Mindanao, he still went, despite to the unpredictable climatic conditions and security risks. Maitum Archaeological Project Team's National Museum officially began on June 6, November 1991. Ayov Cave, now referred to as Pinol Cave, is a Miocene limestone formation located approximately 1,000 meters due south of the Mindanao shoreline, with an elevation of 6 meters. The site is located on the coastal area of Pinol, Maitum, earlier part of the province of South Cotabato, Sarangani. The first stage of works was completed in December 1991, the second from April 8 until May 3, 1992, and the third and the final phase was from January 17 to February 15, 1995. Unfortunately, the conflict between the armed forces of the Philippines and the Islamic Liberation Front in the 70s led to irreversible losses to the historic site. It threatened the future openings and to prevent retention. No full Maitum jar in the form of a woman survived, but there's still evidence of its existence, such as numerous pottery shards of the female breast. This is an indication of equality in terms of practices from jar burials. Overall, a total of 29 cans of burial and about 33 baskets or about 4 cubic meters of archaeological materials was collected. Most of them are now in the possession and maintenance of the National Museum, and some of them at the exhibition on the second level of Municipal Hall of Maitum, in the exhibition called Treasures of Maitum. And because of its importance, Pinol Cave was declared a National Museum of the Philippines as important cultural property on May 5, 2009. Even though the burial jars are similar to the pottery found in Colaman Plateo, southern Mindanao, and many more excavation sites here in the Philippines, what makes the Maitum jars uniquely different, the specific how the anthropomorphic features depict the specific dead persons whose remain they guard.